Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Dairoku, and we are just continuing the common route to get to Shu's route, but kind of already getting all Shu stuff. So anyway, we're going to Fujizakura to see Shu. I thought he was in Nakakuni, but he's not. His little thing was in the middle, but that's okay. I scrolled up to the map, and I'm like, all right, make sure I'm on the right spot. And I'm like, Fujizakura? What? And I was like, oh. Anyway, trap! The middle of the night in Sakuratani, when Ayakashi slept, was morning in the real world. On my last patrol for the day, I finished looking around and decided to stretch my legs along the line of Fujizakura trees. Bird, you're here? 'Cause I don't want to listen to you scream at me, but stop attacking my headset. Don't be a jerk. The Fujizakura sure are a mystery. The flowers are sakura, but the tree itself is a fujinoki. Fujinoki? Although they were sakura flowers, they were purple with pink hues mixed in. I watched the sakura, looking like they might fall at any moment, and a sigh of awe escaped me. Though the prettiest of them all is the biggest Fujizakura tree. Surrounded by a fence, its trunk was decorated with a protective rope, giving the tree an impressive spiritual appearance. I've never seen a tree this big before. Right when I took a step forward, thinking to get closer to the giant tree as I looked up at it. Did you trip over Shu? The ground opened up, my body lurched forward. In the next moment, I felt myself in a free fall. Do they have a den under the Fujizakura tree? Did we just fall into Mitsuchi? Mitsuchi, yeah. What? The moment I realized I was falling, I felt a sharp pain throughout my entire body. Ow! Rubbing my thigh where I was hit the hardest, I slowly lift my body up. I had no idea what had just happened. I fell down somewhere? But where? Ah, fuck, you're in the rabbit hole now, bitch! Welcome to Wonderland! Soft ground under my palms supported my body. Although it was dark around me, my eyes got used to it, and I realized I was in a deep hole. You're like, huh? Don't tell me I fell into an open pit. I couldn't even bring myself to say it. Although unexpected, it must have been a covered hole. How the hell does nobody else fall into it? There's no need for a hole like this around here, so maybe this is someone's prank. Maybe some of the Makatsui kids came all the way here and dug it, or maybe it was the prank-loving Ayakashi of Kikutsune. Whatever the case, I was distracted by the Fujizakura tree and fell into a hole. I'm always much more careful around Doji City since I'm always having pranks pulled on me, but I didn't think this would happen in Kikutsune. But you know what the funny part is like nobody else's fault. Do they see the hole and nobody thinks to fill in? They're like, oh, there's a hole there, don't step in it. But in any case, I have to get out of here. I see that the opening was fairly high up. I was fortunate that I wasn't injured seriously, but I was down pretty deep. Anyone? Is anyone there? It was impossible to climb out. I had to call for help. However, no matter how many times I shouted, there was no response. Right. I didn't see anyone on my way here. Hi, what are you doing? It was the middle of the night for the Ayakashi. Only a weirdo would see the sakura at this time. That's right. Koya! I call out for him in the empty space. Koya, can you come out? What? Koya appeared, replying in his usual manner. It's just, as you can see, I've fallen into a hole that someone dug as a prank. Can you help me out? Help you out how? Oh, how about pulling a chain made of spiritual energy out of the hole and tying it somewhere? Then do it. All right. I formed my fingers into a symbol and began to chant, just like when I needed to restrain someone. Restraint! Spiritual power surrounds Koya's body, which begins to be covered by an aura. When restraining an Ayakashi, Koya would normally tie them with this power. I'm sure if we do this, it'll work. Go ahead. With a short command, Koya jumps out of the hole and was quickly out of sight. How is it? No good. This is a restraining spell. It's useless without a target. You'd best come up with another idea. I slumped my shoulders as he came back down. Another idea. I didn't have many spells at my disposal, so it was hard to think of another plan to escape. Maybe call someone on your phone or have Koya go get someone? Like, what are you, two morons? You can just contact Sami or Yakumo. There you go, some of them smart. Koya offered a suggestion, but I hesitated to accept it. But Sami and Yakumo are on patrol right now. I'm pathetic for falling into a trap like this. Sammy would make fun of me if I had to report that I fell into a pit because I was distracted. Yakumo would actually comfort me, though. I'll try to get out on my own somehow.
Master, this is no time to be acting tough.
I'm not acting tough. I just want to be sure I do everything I can on my own first so that...
Hey, someone down there!
My face shoots upward toward the sky from hearing the voice suddenly coming from above me. The voice just now. I couldn't see his face, so I couldn't be sure, but it sounded like a voice I had heard before. Yes, I'm here! I'm down here in a hole! Koya disappears beside me as I yell out. I fell in and can't get out. I'm sorry, but please help me.
And that voice.
I heard a faint voice. I assumed they recognized my voice too, which soon led to certainty as they got closer. After hearing a few footsteps, they eventually peeked down into the hole.
It is you.
Shu? It was exactly who I had imagined, but regardless, I was relieved to see someone I knew. I'm sorry, I want to get out, but could you help me?
Nope, not like I care what happens to you.
What? Ask him again, give up. I feel like we should ask him again, but with him it's probably give up. I don't know. Yeah, no, it's give up. Okay. You don't have to talk that way with me. I asked you because you were the only person who came by while I'm in here in trouble, but just forget it. What? I'll think of a way to get out myself. I can ask Sammy or Yakumo too, after all. I don't want to, but...
You should have just done that in the first place.
They're out on patrol in other sectors. They can't get to me right away, and besides, I don't want to get in the way of their work, and Sammy will make fun of me. And I don't know if Yakumo can lift me. I don't really want to say this, but even Hajun helped me out before when I was in trouble. And even Hira and Amatsuna, too. But Hajun only helped me out in the beginning, and then left everything else to Akuro. As for Hira, he threw everything on Takao. Oh, hey, while you're at it, maybe you should get a Orochi. That seems to be the popular thing to do. Anyway.
Damn it. Ugh. Jeez, what a pain.
As he shouted in anger, Shu jumps into the hole.
This is the only time I'm doing this.
He lands right beside me in the cramped hole, addressing me with a sour look on his face. Are you going to pick me up? Because if you pick me up, you're going to have to give me a CG of this. Thank you, but how are we going to get out? I didn't expect Shu to drop down into the hole, as I thought he would lower a rope down to me. But looking at me with exhausted eyes as I stood in my confusion, he suddenly closed in on me.
Like this, of course.
What? Yep. I love this! I love this CG. Look at his pissed off face. He's just like, throw you over my fucking shoulder, jump the fuck out. He looks so mad, and she's like, the fuck is happening? Oh my god, that's great. I love it. With his arm wrapped around my waist, he lifted me over his shoulder like a bag of rice. Well, no, wait! With my legs held down like a piece of luggage, my cheeks grow hot thinking about the position of my hips right next to Shu's face.
Here we go.
I love it. Not showing any concern at my surprise, with a short warning, he kicks off the ground. Using his feet and his open arm, he easily gets out of the hole.
We're here.
Shu puts me down right away and sighs to express how much of a bother that was to him.
The grass around here is colored differently. You're dumb not to realize such an obvious hole. Were you even looking while you walk?
I don't really have a good response. But I really am thankful, and you're pretty amazing to climb so easily while carrying me. I gave my honest thanks and praise to him, but as soon as I did, Shu's face was warped with displeasure.
Are you mocking how strong I am? Moving around while carrying a single human's nothing to me. In fact, there's nothing at all I can't do if I actually wanted to try.
Well, you and Hiro would get along. Putting his hands on his hips and puffing his chest out, it seems like Shu was bragging, but it didn't bother me since he had just helped me. In fact, it made me realize something I might have assumed about him, tricked by his appearance. We really have no information on Shu or those in Mitsuchi, so it's entirely possible he could be a great demon of some kind. A question suddenly popped in my mind. Come to think of it, why is Shu here? By the way, what were you doing here at a time so late like this? I asked right away, and after widening his eyes for an instant, Shu quickly looks away to the side.
None of your business. I don't need to share that with a numbskull like you.
Without any time to stop him, Shu leaves. Really, what was he doing? Walking at night while everyone was asleep, coming here while there was only the Sakura. It was unnatural now that I thought about it. But he saved me even though he could have left me. He was trapping Ayakashi. He's like, now you're in my hole. You have to be on my side and you have to come to Mitsuchi. And they're like, okay. But he trapped a human instead. I'm just kidding. It really didn't matter to him what happened to me, and he would gain nothing from helping me. I wanted to believe that his actions weren't done with an ulterior motive, but just to do good. I still don't know anything about Shu, but I hope I can learn more about him. I mean, considering the fact that they didn't do anything bad in any other route, I highly doubt they're, like, evil. You know what I mean? But they just keep to themselves for whatever reason. Or, like, that's the big bad of the thing. I don't know. Anyway. After saying goodbye to Shiratsuki, which we didn't see Shiratsuki at all, so that's really weird that that's there. It makes sense in Shiratsuki's route, but... Anyway, this is all about the event. I don't know why we're not doing this. He thinks I see them all the time. Okay, so what did he actually ask? I bet we can't see it. Yeah, no. Anyway, he thinks I see them all the time. I remember when he helped me out of that trap. But it wasn't that he was worried about me. He definitely seemed reluctant to do it. So, this is when we're thinking about a gift for Shu, maybe? There's probably some other explanation. Either way, he's still stuck by me through that. In any case, I'd really like to thank Shu as soon as I can.
Good idea. If you're able to get closer to him, the Sixth would appreciate that too.
Okay, so then, yeah. We go ask Shu directly. I wanted to ask Shu directly about what he liked, so I went to find him after work. I'm going to the real world in the morning. I should try not to stay out too late. I had fainted at the field of autumn leaves. In TV shows, they always start at the scene of the crime. I went to the field in Amatsuna, but Shu was nowhere to be found. What I did see was a familiar man in the distance passing by some trees. I can never forget such a unique kimono. It's Orochi, right? It's so funny that we say that. Okay. I get it because you're thinking like, oh, I passed out, Shu helped me, and it was only like the second time you saw him, and then if you say ask him directly, then you would be like, oh, Orochi, right? Because you've only met him once. But you've met him, you had that one other incident talking to him, so saying this seems awkward. Like, oh, Orochi! But it is Orochi, right? And he's like, we've talked like 6 times. I mean, granted, in the game, it's been like 2 or 3 times, but still, you know his name by now. Seems weird to say it this way. Before I lost sight of him, I called to Orochi right away. He turned around, adjusting the thin glasses that rested on his face. Oh, Shu mentioned that you fainted around here. And then this is you, the one that was peering into his face, all intent while he was sleeping, but we act like we didn't do... It's very bizarre, but... Yeah, I heard he helped me out a bit, so I wanted to thank him for the trouble. Unfortunately, he isn't here. If you have a message, I can relay it. Of course he wouldn't be back here. Not after seeing Sammy. But Orochi was here. That's something. Maybe I can ask him a few things. I told him I was planning on buying Shu some gifts from my world to thank him and apologize. I was just hoping to give him a little present. I'm not adamant about it being from my world. It could just as easily be from Sakuratani. It sounds a bit like an offering. Maybe some fruits from the real world. Shu could never resist sweet fruits. Oh, I didn't know that. Melons, grapes, strawberries, or maybe something that's in season. I'm not too familiar with real-world fruits, but maybe something that isn't citrus. I've seen him attempt to eat a citrus fruit that wasn't ripe. It knocked him out of his seat. I do wonder what might have been so sour that it made him fall out of his chair, but... Was that a joke? I can't tell if I should have laughed at what Orochi said. Got it. I'll stick to something both sweet and in season. Thank you for the suggestion. Of course. So you're a regular Ayakashimori. Huh? I didn't understand what he was asking me. Orochi didn't seem to have more to add, responding to me with a tender smile. I believe I'm an ordinary Ayakashimori. I see. So you didn't come from a lineage of onmyoji or practitioners, is that right? Yes, that's right. I nodded as I wondered why he was asking. I see. Thank you. Well, I'll be on my way. Orochi bowed gracefully and departed, soon blending in with the darkness. He disappears instantly, just like Shu. I've never mentioned my family to Orochi before. Where did he hear that? I also don't even know why he'd have any interest in my lineage. I wonder if Mitsuchi's plotting something. I mean, they make you want to think that, right? I got some good information on Shu's preferences, but I felt like I was left with more questions. Also, when I get the gift, where do I bring it 3 days later? Well, the fruit's rotten now. Oh, okay, so and we actually see him. Oh, thank him. Shu, thank you for everything that you did. I ran up to Shu to thank him. He stopped and stared at me blankly.
What are you talking about?
The other day when I fainted in Amatsuna, Sammy told me you were standing guard over me when he got there. I just wanted to say thanks.
Oh, is that all?
I've heard about Ayakashi who detest Ayakashimori. I know things could have gone much worse. It means a lot to me that you did that.
Well, when you're someone like me, all you do is stand and Ayakashi avoid you.
Shu seemed to relish in pride as he said that, and in that very moment I gave him my gift. I'm not sure if you'll like any of this, but here, it's my way of saying thanks.
Is this from the real world?
Yes, I had a day off, so I went over there and bought you a handful of things. It's a lot, so please share it with Orochi and the others.
And this is my gift. I'm not sharing it with anybody.
You said it like a child. Felt wrong to laugh, but I couldn't help it. You're absolutely right. They're yours, so enjoy them. They should last a while, too.
What does that mean?
I mean, they'll take a while to spoil. I think they're good for about a month, so you can take your time with them. You seem very happy to hear that. Who knows what could have happened to me if Shu wasn't there before Sammy arrived. Yakumo and my seniors shared that sentiment. It isn't always just kids playing pranks for fun. Thanks to Shu, I realize how important it is for me to take care of myself out here. My words are kind of useless right now. Just know that I truly do appreciate you. So, thanks. And now he's all embarrassed and he runs away. The map to the map, back to the map, and I'm gonna guess we're gonna go find Shu, and of course we are. No, Hira, not you! We're going to see Shu! About Shu. During one of my breaks, I was looking again over some documents I had read over a number of times already. I thought I might have overlooked some information on Mitsuchi, or their leader Shu in particular. However, unable to gain any valuable information, I closed the file in discouragement. Ugh.
What's up? You drop your ice cream cone on the ground or something? That was some sigh.
Sammy walked over and tapped me on the shoulder. Nothing like that. I was looking into Mitsuchi, but I didn't find anything out.
I noticed how intensely you were reading, but you were looking for information on Mitsuchi? You've been researching them quite often lately.
Yakumo came over next to Sammy. I looked up at both of them and replied, There are so many things we don't know about them. I was hoping to understand more. And I'm curious about Shu. He stood guard over me when I collapsed. And even though he was very expressive about not wanting to, he did rescue me from that pit. He might actually be a really kind person. I felt a growing drive to know more about what sort of person Shu was.
I want to learn more about them too. But sadly, no use will come of reading our documents. If we had real leads, we could investigate further. There are only testimonies of suspicious activities. We can't question them just because we don't exactly know what they're doing.
You're right. I guess trying to get some clues out of what information we do have won't work. Sammy, Yakumo, is there anything you've noticed about Mitsuchi? Anything small you wouldn't bother putting in on a report?
No way. And this wouldn't be an issue if they weren't so slippery. I can't say I've seen many of them.
Me too. I'm sure you've run into them more than we have. If you don't know anything, then the two of us here are completely lost.
They answered immediately, and it seemed unlikely I'd learn any new information from them. If that's the case, then all that's left is for me to investigate more seriously on my own. Alright, thank you. I'm gonna go out for a bit.
Where are you going?
I'm going to go around and see all the Shires, and ask them about Shu. I stand up resolutely, making my decision. Oh, my back and shoulders back here. The freaking like heavy metal fucking music in Akuro, and he's such a fucking gentle giant, isn't he? He's like the softest softy. Mitsuchi, and Shu in particular. Makoto narrowed his eyes, trying to think over an answer to my request. I miss him. Even trivial information would help. Do you know anything at all? I love him. He's so adorable.
Unfortunately, nothing in particular. I'm not unconcerned about their activities, but we're hardly ever in contact with them. And the ones living in town aren't too mindful of their surroundings, so it's rare for there to be any reports of any serpents.
I see. I came next to Kikutsune to see Shiratsuki.
You want to know more about the serpents?
Yes, I was hoping you could tell me what you might know, Shiratsuki. Anything at all.
I do wish I could help, but about the only thing I can guess is that they're plotting something.
His voice is right.
And that's just a guess. Essentially that their activities are just suspicious, and though the instincts are usually right.
I see.
It's true. Well, whatever the case, we're not in any contact with the serpent Ayakashi. You Ayakashimori are more prepared to gather information on them, and that is your job after all.
You're quite right about that. I leave Kikutsune and come to Amatsuna.
What do you want?
Here to look like this was a bother to him, just as everything else was. I was hoping you could tell me anything you knew about Mitsuchi, Shu in particular.
I don't know anything. We've never spoken.
Not even once?
Right? Probably.
Probably?
I forget things that are a pain to remember.
Well, this is no help. This is no help. Sums up Hirta pretty much. After leaving Amawa Mansion, I walked around town trying to find somewhere to sit and take a break. I met with 3 Shires, but with nothing gained, I could feel myself plummeting into despair. I really want to understand as much as I can about the Ayakashi and Sakuratani. The Ayakashi of Mitsuchi, the so-called 4th sector, were witnessed acting suspiciously with accusations of plotting something underhanded. I've actually talked with Shu a few times. There's still so many things I don't quite get. What he's doing, why he was where he was. There were so many things he wouldn't answer. Still, all of this was just conjecture, and my suspicions had to be more grounded. I want to know more about him. What should I do? Thinking with my head down, staring at my feet. Oh, that's Orochia.
If you don't look forward, you might bump into someone, Spacey.
I moved my eyes in the direction of the voice, and there was the aide of Mitsuchi's self-proclaimed Shire showing a faint smile. Orochi! It wasn't Shu, but I still didn't expect to run into Orochi either. I rush over to him, eager to be able to talk to him directly.
Oh my, and now you're in such a rush. Don't worry, I won't run away from you. Today.
Huh? I tilt my head in confusion at his remark. Orochi softly puts his fingers to his glasses and begins to talk, still smiling.
I've heard you've been going around asking about us in Mitsuchi, and Shu in particular.
Who told you? I was asking around the sectors lately for information or witnesses who have seen Shu or any Ayakashi from Mitsuchi. Seems Orochi had received word of this. Yes, that's true. I nodded, hoping this would be my chance. Orochi then furrowed his brow with worry.
I see. Have we been causing any burden or trouble to any other Ayakashi or the Ayakashimori? We may have caused a few small quarrels here and there, but I feel we've been able to resolve those matters from our end.
When there was a fight involving one of your Ayakashis, Shu handled the situation.
Right. Shu is particularly careful not to cause any trouble to those around us. So as long as he isn't causing any trouble for you, I do hope you'll let Shu do as he pleases. He loves being able to be so carefree and doesn't quite take to being interfered with unnecessarily, considering his nature.
Is this... His gentle tone softened his message, but I realized Orochi was telling me not to keep asking around about them. He's kind of threatening. And I suspected he came here trying to find me in order to tell me that. He told me about Shu's favorite foods in the past, so I thought he was a nice person, and that's what had me off guard. A polite and approachable figure, unlike Shu. My view of him hasn't changed, but it was unwise to think that was all there was to him.
Yeah, the nicest ones always are the shady.
They're like, oh yeah, no, I'm very pleasant, I will fucking cut you. And you're like, probably. I subconsciously straightened up and answered him. It's my job as an Ayakashimori! Ayakashimori. And I wasn't looking at the screen, so Ayakashimori came out stunted. I feel connected to Shu! I seem to have some sort of connection with Shu. We always run into each other, so I just thought it might be rude if I didn't know more about him. I was fully aware how painful this excuse sounded. A connection, you say? Orochi's expression as he repeated me didn't change at all, and I had no idea what he was thinking. It's like talking to Sammy or Chief Tokiwa. He's also got glasses, so I do like him. He'd be a good match against Akuro when it came to not changing one's expression, but I knew I wouldn't be any match for those two. That said, it was a coincidence running into him, and he was the one who saved me from the hole near the giant Fujizakura tree. And when I was feeling ill and collapsed, she was the one who stayed by my side. I was so happy about that and wanted to thank him somehow, but there was so much I didn't know about him. I'm not lying, so it'll be fine if he's reading intentions like Sammy does. I hope. I've been trained essentially every day by Sammy since the day I joined. I'm sure it'll work. I hope it does. That's true. You and Shu may indeed have some kind of deep bond. Orochi, who had quietly listened to what I had to say, was actually convinced and nodded. Or he's playing along and he's convincing you that he's convinced. It's like, whew, Inception. If that's the case, I'll tell you more about Shu. If you so wish, that is. I was surprised by the unexpected suggestion, but it was one I could hardly even hope for. If it's all right with you, I'd really like that. Yes, it's quite fine. Our conversation ended considerably peacefully. I'd like to ask for your contact information. Do you happen to have any sort of device? Yes, a bit of an older model, but I do have one. I ended up exchanging contact details with Orochi. This is so cute, we're going to start texting Orochi. Shu, I'm sorry, but I'm here for Orochi. He's got glasses. He's got snake eyes, so not necessarily trust him, but it's okay. But, you know, Snick, sometime cute. Boop on the nose. Boop. Boop Orochi on the nose. I'm sure Sammy and Yakumo will be surprised. I couldn't predict this. Still, I always had the impression that the serpents often acted alone, on their own. Orochi came to see me for Shu's sake. That meant he cared enough for Shu to do that. You must be quite close to Shu to worry about him enough to come and find me. Orochi opened his eyes wide and looked at me, as if a little surprised. However, he quickly regained his composure and began to speak. Right, Shu and I are bound by fate, after all. Huh? Bound by fate? What does that mean? Unable to understand, I stood there baffled. I'll be taking my leave now. I apologize for taking so much of your time. Oh, no! With a happy look, Orochi gave me a quick bow and returned back to the road he came from. Was he just toying with me? Ugh, I feel like I'm starting to get even more confused about Shu and Orochi. I watched as Orochi's figure grew smaller and smaller. I like Orochi. I'm not like, it's not like Chief Tokiwa. Like, I love you! And Sammy and Akuro. Like, I think Chief Tokiwa is like the side character that I love the most. Just because Jun Fukuyama. So hi, I'm here for it. He's also kind of a shady bitch. I like that. Like, Sammy I think is my favorite love interest, even though we haven't gone down his route, but like, he was the one that first appealed to me. But out of the ones we've played so far, it's going to be Akuro, I'm not going to lie. I feel like Shiratsuki would be second, you know? Because I did like Shiratsuki a lot. He's a cute little fox boy. I kind of want to pet him. So, you know. Anyway, I'm assuming we're going to Nakakuni. Yes, and going to see Shu. I don't want to say I like Shu the least, because it's just, at least with the other ones, you kind of saw him a little bit, but like Shu, you really didn't meet much at all in the other routes. So like, you don't really know anything about him, so I can't say I didn't not like Hiro, but it's like, no, Hiro's fine. But I like Takao better. Just weird. Anyway, I think I actually enjoy Shiratsuki's route the most, just because you've got Coco and you've got Tamamo and Kinka and like all of them, and I like all of them more. I like Akuro I just love him. But, like, and even though, like, Shuten, Ibaragi, and Hajun are fine, I still like Tamamo, Kinka, and Coco better. Like, the group. Just like that. Like, I just feel a little more bond. Like, no, I love them. Like, you guys are fine too, but you're like my second group of friends. If it's like, who do you want to? Yeah, I want to hang out with them. I want to hang out with the Kikutsune peeps. You know? But I want to take Akira with me. But, like, him and Shiratsuki are up there kind of both. I like them both, but anyway. We decided to invite all the Shireis to Nakakuni in order to talk about the event. About an hour in, I got up and went into the hallway to prepare seconds of tea for everyone. Actually, let me come with you after all. Though Yakumo hurried after me, I shook my head, gesturing I was fine. Listen to what everyone says and tell me later. All right, thank you. After watching Yakumo go back in, I walked off. The discussions went smoothly, and I could even say things were progressing. However, I figured this would be the case, but I guess Shu really didn't come. I didn't get any confirmation that he would, but I did ask Shu to come as all the self-appointed leaders of the as the self-appointed leader of the Mitsuchi Ayakashi. And I was requested directly by the chief to ask Shu about it, since I run into him so often. I handed an entry permit to one of his guards so we could enter without any issue. I knew it was up to him to decide, but there was no sign that he'd be here, and the meeting continued between the Shireis and the Ayakashimori. Even though we don't know their size, this event is meant for Ayakashi to exercise their powers, so I think it would be best if they participated. If the Ayakashi within Sakuratani could release tension, I'm sure there'd be less fighting. Oh, Bird, I know, but my neck hurts so bad. I continued down the hallway in my thoughts. Just then I felt a gaze on me from somewhere, and I quickly stopped. Shu! I couldn't help but rush over to him, and Shu quickly turned around and tried to leave. Huh? Wait, where are you going? Doesn't matter. Don't you come near me! What? Didn't you come here for the meeting? I asked my question, and Shu finally looks back at me. Relieved, I rushed back over to him. You didn't know which room it was? I'm sorry, let me show you there. Don't be mistaken, I don't intend to participate in some stupid meeting about nothing. I addressed him with a smile, but he barked back, making me ask for clarification in my confusion. Huh? Then why are you here? It's simple. Finally able to enter Nakakuni since I was invited in. Just thought I'd come by, considering the opportunity. There's no loss for me in spying on Nakakuni and the others from the other sectors. There's no loss for me in spying on Nakakuni and the others from the other sectors. Oh, okay. Spying on? I could feel my elation crashing down upon hearing those unsettling words. Jeez, I was hoping to find out all sorts of things, and now you got in the way. I couldn't imagine Shu was kidding as he angrily muttered those words. Are you a vampire? You have to be invited in? Did he really come here just for that? Why do you need to spy on Nakakuni and the Shireis of the other sectors? He might disappear somewhere if I kept avoiding the subject with small talk. It was a gamble just to see how he'd answer. But I decided to ask him straight to the point. I thought the text was done. I was like, wait. Shu holds his breath, realizing what he had said, and quickly looks away from me. I don't have any reason to tell you that. I thought he'd say that. Well, I do think I have a right to ask since you're here to spy on the Ayakashimori. Shut up! Don't talk back to me! You really are arrogant, you know that, and you're kind of stupid. We should just say that. Shu raised his voice. I didn't know why he always had to sneer, but he might leave again, unwilling to talk any further if he got any angrier. My heart was pounding, but I answered quietly, making effort not to let that show on me. Alright, I won't ask that anymore. However, we merely asked you to participate in our meeting, so please let us have a discussion with you about the event. If you aren't willing to participate in that, then if we could just ask for... I'm telling you to shut up! Don't group me with them! Shu sharply cut me off, and my body went tense. He made no effort to hide his annoyance with me. Those guys aren't worthy of being Shireis. Aren't worthy? Yeah, don't ever say anything that groups me with them ever again. He gave that last remark and turned around. Please wait, Shu! I called out to Shu, stopped, and slowly looked back. But he looked back. What? You still want something? I was curious why Shu would say all these things. Watch him leave, ask what he means. Ask what he means. I was sure. It was best not to upset him any further, but I felt I couldn't just let things stay that way, and I tried to keep the conversation going. What do you mean the others aren't worthy of being Shire's? Shu didn't answer and looked at me in silence. It looked to me as if he searched for an answer while trying to read what I was thinking. Shu answered in a somewhat lowered voice, as if trying to suppress his emotions.
That's just what it is. The Oni, Kitsune, Tengu, none of them are capable of being Shire's. They have no authority to stand above the other Ayakashi and are just the same as them.
That's not... I believe that everyone's doing a good job taking care of their sectors, although there are disputes on occasion, of course.
Ha! Taking care of their sectors? Must means you have no idea what it looks like to have a Shirei truly fit to the role.
Oh, truly fit to rule, sorry. Truly fit to rule?
Yeah, the only ones fit to rule all over other The only ones fit to rule over all other Ayakashi are us and Mitsuchi.
But you're not ruling over everybody. You've got self-appointed the people in the sectors that people vote for, and then they work together. You're like,
I'm trying to be a king!
Mitsuchi ruling over all the Ayakashi. Is he being serious? Like, look, punk. I don't think so. If anyone was going to rule over all the Ayakashi, it'd be Akuro. I feel like he'd be, like, the best. Because, like, Hiro doesn't want to be bothered. Takao's got too much fucking shit on his plate. I don't think Shiratsuki could handle it, and Akuro could. Hajun is just... I don't know why Akuro was like, yeah, no, Hajun should take over. He's like, this is dumb. Akuro's the only one capable of reigning all you motherfuckers. I'm just saying, because he's kind of scary, but also diplomat. Like, I feel like he'd... You know what I mean? But it works well with them all working together. That's what we're doing here. There's not a fucking king. You would also be, like, maybe the second to last on the list. Hiro would absolutely be the last on the list of the people I'd ask. He'd be like, Hiro's like, everybody else is dead? Yeah, you're it, Hiro. You're the last man standing. Sly. If he was being serious about it, it would certainly be a grand ambition. Seems like something extraordinary, but not knowing what he really thought, I felt unsure.
I'm leaving.
While wondering how to respond, Shu decided to leave. Unable to quickly think of what to do, all I could do was just stand there. I heard the sound of hastened footsteps behind me.
I finally found you. So this is where you were.
Yakumo, what's wrong?
And that's what I'd like to ask. I felt you hadn't come back for a while, so I came to look for you.
In response to Yakumo's remark, I uttered to myself, oh crap! That's right, I was supposed to bring more tea. Some time had passed from talking to Shu. It's only obvious he'd be worried.
The kitchen isn't in this direction, so what happened?
Seeing how I hadn't even prepared the tea, Yakumo's face grew even more worried. Sorry, I actually ran into Shu, and after chasing after him, I ended up in this direction.
What? Shu is here?
Yeah, but he said he didn't have any intention on participating in the meeting and left.
Huh? What? He came and then just left?
In a quick turn, Yakumo's look of nervousness became one of complete confusion. Of course it's confusing, but at this point it was better to report it to everyone, Chief Tokiwa and Seimi included. He said something that was really concerning, and I felt it was best to gather my thoughts. I'll tell you more about it later. I'm keeping everyone waiting for the tea. I'll hurry and get it ready, so you can head back to them, Yakumo.
Wait, I'll help you.
Really? You've got so many books in your hand, Yakumo. Why are you always carrying books? How are you going to carry tea with all those books in your hand? Seriously? As I walked off briskly, Yakumo stayed with me. Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't need to go back now. Everyone's opinions are scattered around at the moment, so we decided to give ourselves a break. So let's get ready, then head back.
Alright, thanks. I'm all confused right now, but for now I should just focus on the meeting. I hurried with Yakumo over to the kitchen. Making tea, we're gonna make some tea with Yakumo. Making tea with Yakumo. Okay. Hira and Takao. Oh, we're getting dizzy. Oh, Takao, I love you. At least we got a CG with Takao flying us away. Oh, you know what? I don't know why I'm doing this. This is like the, I have to go! And then we go to the thing with the water spout. And now we're in the map, and we're going to the snowfield to hang out with Shu. We're gonna go be snow bunnies with a snick. We don't know if he's a snick. We don't know. Snick. Snowfield. I walked along a narrow path where the snow was tamped down by footsteps, careful not to slip. The area I was patrolling today was a snowfield in Makatsui, where the snow kids played. Snow danced down from the sky. I walked forward, looking at the surroundings, just to see nothing out of the ordinary. Sorry.
Hey, it's the Ayakashimori lady! Yay, let's play!
2 snow kids giddily approached me, rushing over to me. Yeah. Their footsteps on the snow were nimble, as expected from Snow Ayakashi. I'm sorry, I'm doing my job right now, so I can't play. I have to look around to make sure there aren't any problems anywhere.
What? That's boring! Let's snowball fight or make a snow bunny.
Well, both of those sound fun, but next time, okay? I'll come play when I have time off.
Really? You promise?
Absolutely not, I promise. I promise.
Yay, she promised!
They repeated me and ran off. The area went quiet as they disappeared. After that, nothing in particular happened. The end. And I ended my patrol without any issues. Phew, really is cold. My body was always chilled to the bone after my patrols here. I always stopped by Makatsui on the way back to get something hot to drink. Thank goodness they have chai and hot cocoa. I wonder if one of my seniors made it happen. There are instances of shops in Sakuratani offering food and drink from the real world. I get excited hearing about how they're requested by either interested Ayakashi or the Ayakashimori. I imagined having a favorite spot, asking them to stock my favorite food and drinks. I wonder what I should get today. As I wondered, I noticed something moving beyond the trees as I continued to walk. Is someone there? I thought it might have been more snow kids, but the figure seemed a bit taller than theirs. As I get closer, noticing my footsteps, the figure beyond the trees quickly looks to show itself. Tch! You again! Shoo! I was surprised, but quickly rushed over to him. I feel like I'm always surprised to see Shoo. Considering the fact in all the other routes you never saw him, but we were just never in the right place at the right time. He always appeared at times and places I least expected, and I never knew when I would run into him. I feel like he's following us. Don't come over here! Please don't say that. What happened? We happened to meet so we could at least talk. When I had the chance to run into him, I couldn't let the opportunity go to waste. It's funny because most people are like, oh, hi, and you wave, and then you keep going. Instead, she's like, let me run over and talk to you. And he's like, God damn it, this bitch again. Would literally be me. Even as Shu had a look of displeasure on him, he didn't try to get away. It's been a while, Shu. I finally get beside him and show him another smile. What are you smiling about? You're so weird. I just saw someone I knew. What's so wrong about greeting him? Shu doesn't want to be in contact with anyone, but if he really didn't want to, he'd have left right when he noticed I was around. The thought allowed me to keep talking to him. That's true, he would have seen you and hid in the trees. What were you doing in a cold place like this? I'm free to do whatever I want, wherever I want. Don't come prying into everything I do. I'm sorry. He was just alone in the snowfield and didn't seem like he was waiting for anyone, but I knew he wouldn't answer my question. I stopped myself and changed the subject. It really is cold. I get chilly doing my patrols here, so I always head over to Makatsui on my way back and get something hot to drink. Who cares? There are drinks from the real world, but have you ever had chai or cocoa before? I told you, who cares? But he's still answering me. He answered curtly and dispassionately, but he was still talking to me nonetheless. Do you not like drinks from the real world? I pushed forward and Shu grimaced as if he had just eaten something really bitter. Ugh, you're such an annoying woman. An Ayakashi like me doesn't need to drink stuff like that. I guess Shu isn't interested in the real world. Unlike the Ayakashi in Makatsui or Kikutsune, hey, I don't have to drink hot chocolate either, but I enjoy it. I like, French vanillas. Our coffee maker at work is like a fancy machine. And instead of hot cocoa, it has like the hot vanillas. They're so good. I like them so much better. Like, oh, this is so good. I'm apparently a very boring person. I'm very vanilla. I see. Chai and cocoa are sweet and tasty. There are other sweet drinks like milk tea, too. I answer back, and Shu's eyes widened as if he just heard something interesting, because he likes sweet things. So, drinks from the real world are sweet, huh? You've never had anything from there before? No. I see. Oh, that's right. Lies! I gave you that fruit, you bitch! I remember about the canned juice I bought by mistake and searched around my bag for it. Hey, what are you pulling out? I I bought this drink by mistake today, and I thought you might enjoy a taste. I pull out a can bearing a label of 100% apple juice. I thought I'd just drink this back in my room, but if Shu's showing interest in it, he should be the one to drink it. Possibly gaining interest, Shu stares at the can of juice I was holding. How do you open this? I hurriedly explained to Shu as he sticks his finger through the tab of the can. If you pull up this little ring, the can opens where this opening is pre-scored. I couldn't say he was engrossed in it, but he was definitely curious, seeing how he was staring. You'd have to drink it if you opened it. As I thought about how I wouldn't want to have to drink cold juice right now, Shu snatches away the can I held in my hand. So you pull this up? Shu puts his finger in the tab of the can and pulls it upwards as I'd explained. And then... What the... I remembered how Kinka had grabbed onto me while I was in Kikutsune, making me fall over. The contents were shaken up from back then. I don't think apple juice would explode like soda, but... Hey! The heck is all this? Shu yelled in his frustration, and I hurriedly supported the can still in Shu's hand, putting my own over it to lift the tab completely open. Checking the spillage, I take the can from Shu and stick it upright in the snow. I'm sorry it got on your hand, didn't it? Wipe it off immediately. Wipe it off immediately. Probably the sexy right choice instead of find something to dry it. Wipe it off. Oh, save one. Time to make a save! For Shu, all the way down here. Save one. We probably only have 2 saves, so I'll just save here. Like everyone else. Okay. Back. So, we wipe it off immediately. Yeah, I told you, it's the sexy choice. Stay still for just a moment. Oh, look, hi, CG, we're wiping his hand and he looks all ashamed. I like the fact that we even have earring backs. Like, they made the detail of, like, she's got earrings in, so let's make her have a little earring back. Let's just... You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Just impressed by stupid little details, but like... Oh, look, he's all embarrassed. It's cute. I like it. In a rush, I take out the handkerchief I had in my pocket and look at Shu's right hand. It was wet with the juice that came gushing out. I'm really sorry. Apologizing as I dry him, I look over at his hand to find anywhere else he might have gotten wet. What about your left hand? Is it alright? It seemed like it didn't get on his left hand. He's like, she's touching me. Looks like your left hand's fine. That's a relief. As I gave a sigh of relief, all of a sudden, my hands were batted away from him. Let go! He's blushing. It was so strong, even the handkerchief flew out of my hands and I looked up in surprise. But the juice will make you all sticky, so... My remark was cut off mid-sentence. Shu's face was the reddest I had ever seen it. Shu? Don't come near me! Don't touch me! Red-faced and shouting, Shu backs away even further, widening the distance between us. He's like, I find you attractive, so I can't be around you! Oh no, is he really mad? Oh no, sweetie. It was normal to be angry from having juice spilled on you, but I was surprised at how extreme it was, and it made me feel even worse. I'm really sorry, Shut up! Forget it! I'm leaving! Shu quickly looks around, widely grabbing at something as he stood up. Shu, wait! I call out from behind him, but he didn't look back and simply just ran off and left. I feel so bad about what I did. I was finally able to have a chat with him, but I ruined it. He said he grabbed something. He grabbed this juice, didn't he? I have to apologize to him again when I see him, though I'm not sure when I will. I wondered when our next encounter would be. All I could do was hope such a time would come as soon as possible. Like, it doesn't mention the juice, but it says something like, oh, he grabs at something and then disappears. I bet he grabbed the juice. He's like, I'm taking this. Boop. Skip past. Okay, so Shuratsky calls us. Okay, so this is the thing with the... Okay.
Spacey, you're not going to believe this.
What's going on?
I'm sorry for calling you out of the blue. Would you mind coming over?
When he said, please hurry over.
Oh, it's all 3 of them this time. Interesting. Shuratsky, Akuro, Hira... What's happening? I don't know what this is about, but the fact that they're calling me like this must mean it's important. That's interesting, because when you're in Shiratsuki, Shiratsuki calls you. When you're Hirta, Hirta calls you. And when you're more with Akuro, but now, since you're going down Shu, all three of them call you. Okay, I'll be over there right away. Okay, so I rush over here and blah, 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 and then they're all telling me about the weird 7 secrets or whatever the hell they were called again. I bet go alone is samey because this is a little suspicious is the right answer. The decision gave me pause. I looked at them all. Akuro, Shiratsuki, and Hirta. It's Hirta, not Hiro, but... Akuro's story seemed believable, but be that as it may, I can't believe Akuro's involved in this. Shiratsuki, yes. Hirta was like, fine, whatever. But like, Akuro, really? Anyway. Shiratsuki and Hirta's words and actions had an aura of insincerity about them. Something's not right. I'm not choosing anyone. If they're plotting something, then it's better that I go alone so I don't get made fun of. What? Where am I supposed to go? I'll just drop in real quick.
Spacey! You're not dealing with a foe you can just drop in on. I choose one of us, so... Ugh, enough. Everyone's waiting. Go to the field of autumn leaves. Hey, Hirta! Don't tell her all that.
I'm not doing Shiratsuki's voice right, but it's fine. Apparently everyone's waiting for me. I guess I'm headed to the field of autumn leaves. We go to different places with each one of them, though. Okay, I'll be on my way then. I don't see anyone around.
Boo!
In an instant, a cat with a forked tail jumped out of the bushes to scare me. Oh my god, what is...
I'm a lion! Roar! I'm not losing to a stupid Tanuki! You said it! Let's fuse everybody!
How's this? Yikes! It was way bigger than the Nekomata. It might have been the size of a house. The gigantic kitsune looked down at me. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Shut up. An irritated voice interrupted me as I tried talking to the towering kitsune. Oh. Shu came down from a tree next to where I stood. Let's go. What? Oh, hi, new CG. Shu grabbed my arms and yanked me along. He let me past the kitsune and Nekomata right into the woods. Look at him just grabbing us. Think you can just grab me like that, sir? I mean, okay. Shu, I wanted to hear them out. Leave it. They'll get over it. Oh, well, okay, so where are we going? Shu was offended by my question and stopped dead in his tracks. Don't you get it? This is a haunted house, and the sooner you get out of the field of autumn leaves, the sooner you're done. Oh, this is a haunted house? I finally understood why everyone was acting the way they were. Thank you for telling me, Shu. You've helped me yet again. Shu shot a glare at me, but then shifted his focus to the path. We eventually made it to the river. Huh. He seemed really disgruntled, and we kept walking in another direction. Wow, that was a rare opportunity for me to talk to Shu. I felt like if I said anything else, he'd leave me, so I kept quiet. Gah, how scary! That serpent's glare is spooky! I was getting ready to scare her, but got so rattled myself that I just couldn't do it!
Me neither, me neither!
Many Ayakashi watched us as we cut through the field of autumn leaves. If all of these Ayakashi had jumped out to scare me, it might have been overwhelming. Shu, as he mentioned, probably helped me because if he didn't, I'm sure I would have been very loud. In any case, his grip on my wrist was tight, and I could still feel Shu's cold hand on my skin. It'd be kind of funny because you're dumb, they're like, boo! And you're like, oh my god! And then you're laughing because it like jump scares, but like... No, this is Chapter 4, Suspicious Movement. With event preparation added on top of my normal work duties, I was swamped. However, maybe because I got used to it, my body's condition was stable, and I was spending my days happy and fulfilled, even though it was so busy. I was told I shouldn't work too hard, but there's so many things I can do, so I'm glad I feel better now. Of course, I didn't want to collapse again, so I reminded myself not to forget to take regular breaks back in the real world. I'm back! Everyone here? Oh, Tokitsugu, welcome back! Welcome back. Sammy had arrived after being out of the office, and Yakumo and I rose from our seats to greet him. We decided to discuss today who would be in charge of which sectors, and we're waiting for Sammy to return.
Sorry to make you wait. Alright, let's get this meeting started.
Right. We moved over to the sofa to begin a collaborative discussion on who would be in charge of which sector and why. Or so I thought.
The assignments are set. Yakumo and Kikatsune, Spacey and Makatsui, and I'm in Amatsuna. I bet Yakumo wants Kikatsune and Spacey will find it easier to deal with Akuro than Hira. Akuro basically oversees Makatsui after all. Hira's first up for Amatsuna, but I get the feeling Takao won't be able to stand by and watch nothing get done, so he'll be taken over at some point.
Right. Everything was decided before we even sat down. Is it alright to decide everything so quickly?
We're just choosing who's in charge. If something comes up, we'll play it by ear and help each other out wherever needed. But if Yakumo got anything other than Kikatsune, he'd either shed blood or tears. Right, Yakumo?
Sammy playfully teased Yakumo. I would not. It's all work, so I just do as I'm instructed. But if I had the choice, I'd be happy to get Kikatsune.
'Cause Kinka's there, right?
Sammy! Fine. Yes, that's right. I apologize for my personal feelings, but I promise they'll not affect my work. Yakumo confessed as his face grew red with embarrassment. I'm sure you'd be even more diligent about it. Seems like Sammy's instincts were right after all. Bird, what are you doing? You cannot shove your head under my headset. Stop it. Given Yakumo's feelings toward Kinka, I didn't have a stronger argument to manage Kikutsune. As Sammy said about Makatsui, Akuro would probably accomplish a lot in Hajun's place, so that may put us at ease, considering it's our first event. Understood. Thank you for your consideration, Sammy, especially considering you're so close to Akuro.
No problem. Actually, just keep complaining if you had to deal with me, so it works out.
As Sammy finished speaking, the door opened again. The chief! Hi. Y'all in a meeting right now? There's something I'd like to talk about.
Atsuya, is something the matter?
Well, you see... After entering, the chief sat down next to Sammy, put his hands on his knees, and spoke with an unusually serious expression. There's been a report that just came in about the Mitsuchi Ayakashi acting suspiciously. Acting suspiciously? Like everyone else keeps saying about them all the time? I'm just saying. It seems it wasn't investigated thoroughly, but the report states they've been spotted around Amatsuna in unprecedented numbers. When questioned, a nearby Ayakashi said, "You'll understand eventually." Huh. They're not trying to hide it? Whoa, they're not hiding themselves, huh? It's like they're declaring they're up to something. Seriously, they seem to realize they said too much because they dodged the subject and fled the scene. Naturally, we have reason to suspect that a sinister plot's unfolding in Mitsuchi. I'd like you all to investigate it. Chief Tokiwa looks at all three of us.
Jeez, can't believe the timing on this. Well, guess we gotta do it if that's the case.
Right, I wonder what they're preparing for. It's fairly concerning, isn't it? It certainly is suspicious. Although if someone let it slip so easily, maybe it's not a big deal, or they did it on purpose. But did we, I'm assuming we told everybody what Shu said to us. Like, we were like, I better tell them. Did we not? I hope we did. But it would be problematic if it caused a big commotion, and it may even be possible that Shu's involved somehow. Though I don't feel like Shu would be the type to go out of his way to cause trouble. Though it wasn't too often, I did talk with Shu at times, and he helped me in the past. He's arrogant, but doesn't seem to be a villain. I had mixed feelings about the story, especially since I had wanted to get to know him better.
The Ayakashi and Mitsuchi are distrustful and cautious, so we should tread lightly in our investigation. I'll leave it up to you, Spacey.
Huh? After sitting there silently in all my thoughts, I responded in a high-pitched voice to Sammy. Me? Alone?
Right. Well, they'll be least vigilant around the newbie, and there's a high possibility that they'd let slip the details. Isn't that right, Atsuya?
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. What do you think, Spacey? It seemed as though the chief thought the same thing, looking directly at me as he asked. I had no intention of going against my superior, and I wanted to find out the truth myself as well. After thinking for a moment, I nodded. I understand. Please let me take on this task. You sound a little scared. I kinda am. Got it. Thanks. Chief Tokiwa finally returned back to his usual grin.
Do your best, Spacey. You don't have to worry about the event. We'll have Yakumo work hard at Makatsui, too.
Huh? Wait, me? You mean we'll both be cooperating together for that, Seamy?
Yeah, alright, I'll back you up if you get desperate. So, until then, do your best.
Ah, jeez, seriously?
Sorry, Yakumo. Let me know if there's anything I can help with too, okay? I smiled as the lighthearted mood returned. We discussed our strategy and decided that I'd contact the Mitsuchi Ayakashi under the pretext of inviting them to the event. Since I'd already mentioned it to them in the past, this would be the most natural approach.
Alright then, it's settled. Good luck, Spacey. Be a good friend to Mitsuchi and listen to their secrets.
I'm honestly not sure I can become good friends with everyone, but I'll do my best. I haven't really met many other Ayakashi from there, but I might be able to manage with Shu. I also had a powerful ally. I'm able to get in contact with Orochi, though he's never replied back to me.
I have faith you can do it. Also, Spacey, I have another request of you.
What is it? As I spoke, I felt a bit of unease again as the chief's smile quickly vanished.
I want you to find where they live. They must have a hideout somewhere in Sakuratani, but we don't have any leads. It's imperative that we find out where they're based for the future. If it's too difficult to ask, you can follow them. You have my permission.
Huh? Follow them? It would mean trouble if they thought we were treating them as guilty until proven innocent. There weren't too much grounds for investigation. If this is what the chief is requesting, he must have a strong hunch that something's going on. Feeling the weight of the mission entrusted to me, I unconsciously straightened my back. I'm still a bit hesitant to go that far with so little evidence, but... Understood. I'll do my best to figure out the whereabouts of this hideout.
Sorry to have to do all this, but we've reached a dead end in our own investigations, and it'll be too late to do anything if the worst happens. I'll take responsibility, so please do your best.
Right. Alright, the end. Okay. Investigation! So we're going to stop here because we're out of time. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.